Good morning, George. I'm Charlie Moriarty of the George Herald. Today's news update is made possible by Access. In this week's edition of the newspaper, the family of two South African engineers, 53-year-old Frik Potgieter from George and 55-year-old Peter Huxham from Langebaan, heard last week that the two men have been sentenced to 12 years in prison and fined an amount of 141 million rand each by a court in Equatorial Guinea. Potgieter and Huxham were both found guilty of allegedly possessing cocaine in their luggage. They have been imprisoned in Equatorial Guinea since February this year. The two engineers were arrested just before the return to South Africa after a 5-week work session in Equatorial Guinea at the China Malabo Hotel in the country's capital, Malabo, on a charge believed to be related to a shipment of cocaine found on an international flight from Singapore. Initially, it was said that this was the plane that the men arrived with in Equatorial Guinea 5 weeks earlier, on the 4th of January. However, Frik and Peter landed in Equatorial Guinea on different flights via Ethiopia and not Singapore, and on different days. Later allegations were that the two men were involved in the use of drug trafficking and that drugs were found in their luggage at the hotel. Potgieter and Huxham were initially detained in the notorious Black Beach prison and were later moved to a prison in Mongamu in the east of the country. Both families insist on their innocence, saying that the sentence came as a huge shock. Both men enjoy legal representation by a company that represents their employer, the Dutch oil company Single Boy Mooring in Equatorial Guinea. As engineers, they worked on different platforms for the company and only got to know each other over the arrest. Since the news of Frik and Peter's sentencing reached the media over the weekend, there have been massive outcries on social media. Everyone wants to know how they are and what will happen next. We have on the line representative for the Potgieter and Huxham families, Francois Negrini. Francois, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Charlie, for having us, and it's absolutely a privilege to share some of the information on behalf of the families.
Can you tell us what is happening at the moment and what is being done legally to help these men?
Frik is now around about 53 years old and Peter 55. They'd worked for the company for almost 8 years and have maintained an impeccable professional record in the oil and the gas industry, both in Equatorial Guinea and abroad in several other countries. During these years, both of them trained locals and acted as mentors for these local people and for a selected group of people, now specifically in Equatorial Guinea, for those to become part of the management on similar SBM vessels there. In other areas of their activities. And for this, Peter and Frik were complimented at several occasions in and outside Equatorial Guinea for doing such a good job in looking at the locals and their upbringing and training. Mm-hmm. And despite both working for the same company, SBM, Peter and Frik did not know each other prior to the arrest, because they were working on separate vessels. Mm-hmm. Peter on the Aseng and Frik on the Serpentino, which are roughly about 20 or 30 kilometers apart from each other. So they only met each other after the arrest in Malabo took place. Mm-hmm. So they were arrested at their hotel once arriving back from the respective vessels in the capital Malabo on the evening of the 9th of February. On the 26th of April, a court date of the 4th of May, if I remember correctly, was given for them to put their case forward, and this simply to be cancelled the day before the 4th, mm-hmm. For the hearing to take place. For the following almost 2 months, SBM and the families did our utmost best to receive a new court date. We had several sessions with the government in EG, with our government to put the pressure on, but without any success. And it was a hard drive to get them, the court, to give us a date, a new date. They eventually received an official summons from the court on the Thursday, the 22nd of June, and the trial was held on Monday, the 26th of June. The verdict was delivered, as you know, on Thursday, the 29th of June. And yeah, without any evidence presented to the court by the state and the prosecutor, the court found them guilty and sentenced each of them for 12 years of imprisonment in Equatorial Guinea. Families are obviously now in the process of appealing this devastating and erroneous judgment, which they believe is not rooted in any fact or evidence presented to the judge and the court. The employer, SPM, and us as the family will continue to do everything in our power to prove Frik and Peter's innocence, and to bring them home to their loved ones and to the country that they love. The priority for the families right now is to establish regular video or WhatsApp communication with the two men, and to ensure their ongoing safety and well-being. They will continue to engage with the family will continue to engage with the South African Department of International Relations, which is DIRCO, and all the diplomatic channels that exist in order to assist us. And finally, by having this opportunity, it's the first time that we as the families can also, on behalf of Frik and Peter and Kathy and Sonia, thank SPM Offshore for the ongoing support and assistance given and provided to us during the past five months. The families would also like to thank Frik and Peter's friends and the colleagues and community, as well as the wider public for their ongoing support and prayers.
So Francois, can you tell us if the family have been able to make contact with the guys and what is known of their conditions at the moment?
We've tried to get in touch with them through the lawyers, through the SA Embassy in Equatorial Guinea, but without any success. The last time we were in contact with them through a local doctor from EG was about 3.5 weeks ago, when Peter fell ill. He was admitted to the prison's hospital and had a fully medical checkup. They've also at the same time did a medical checkup with Frik, and it was advised by the prison doctor for them to have a regular medical checkup every second week. We are not sure whether that has been done, but at our daily feedback sessions, we are keeping an eye on that and try and put the pressure on the two doctors as well as the embassy.
So Francois, if there is anything that you or the family could say to the guys right now, what would it be?
It's a tough one. I would just say, guys, do not give up. We all believe in you, in both of you and your innocence. And there are many people working tirelessly to secure your release and your safe return home. Please know that your families and are under these circumstances and stressful challenges, fine. We all support each other and receiving the necessary support through these difficult times. And I will also say you are all in our prayers every day, every moment of the day. We have so much to catch up with you and looking really forward to doing so. God bless you and the others that are in a similar unnecessary and uncalled for situation.
Thank you, Francois. Thank you for your time. You can read this article in this week's edition of George Herald or follow us online to stay up to date. This episode was proudly brought to you by Access, Internet Your Way.